army. I think army is the most appropriate organization to develop leadership, and they have all the qualities of leadership required in course of their duties. And we are very happy that we have a speaker today who has been in the army as well as in the corporate sector. Uh, uh, Colonel Jiten Badera was in the army for about 19 years.
25 years.
25 years. And then, came in the corporate sector. He is a science graduate from Jawaharlal Nehru University and a postgraduate from Madras University. Did his MBA from Nanteng Technological University, Singapore, and also had attended executive development programs at prestigious institutions like Wharton, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and University of California, Berkeley. So he has an excellent experience in management in the corporate sector as well as army. And the organization where he's currently working, he is the CEO of a company which manages solar plants, about 200 solar plants in UP and Bihar, and also solar grids, about 100 solar grids, isn't it? So
That's right.
That's very, very interesting. And we look forward to some very useful inputs on leadership and practical inputs on leadership from Colonel Vadera. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mathur, for the kind introduction. A very warm and good afternoon to everyone who has taken out time to attend my lecture here.
Good
I
afternoon,
hope,
Kalan sahab.
I hope that I am able to come up to the expectations of everyone and share my actual leadership experiences, anecdotal experiences for the benefit of all. Let me start my presentation. I will share my PowerPoint screen. So the presentation, as you are already aware, is regarding leadership lessons from the Army. So firstly, let me define leadership for everyone's benefit. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yes, very much.
Yes, yes.
Yes, very well visible.
Okay. Leadership, as the word lead tells you, it is the ability of the individual or a group of individuals to influence and guide followers or other members of an organization. So there was a white paper written by Conferry International in 2006, in which, after carrying out a study, they had come out with a white paper in which they had brought out whether there is any link between the military experience and the CEOs of the companies who have had military experience and compared to those who have not had a military experience. So this was quite an interesting study in which I found out that the CEOs in the corporate world who had come from the military background had a much better success rate and much better performance as compared to the other CEOs who were there in the corporate world. So just for your reference, I have taken out some data from this white paper. military officers are overrepresented amongst CEOs. They are 8.4% in the S&P 500 companies versus 3% of the adult males who serve the military. Then secondly, CEOs with military background are likely to deliver strong performance and higher returns in 1, 3, 5, and 10-year horizons. That has been factually proved. They tend to serve longer on the job, 7.2 years on an average as compared to 4.2 years for other CEOs. And it has been proven in this white paper that leadership skills learned in the military training enhance success in corporate life to a great extent. So what are these leadership skills that had served the ex-military CEOs when they came to the corporate world? The most important skill is learning how to work as part of the team. The military leaders are able to take their complete team along with them. They are able to motivate everyone who is working with them or under them. Next is the organizational skills, that is planning and effective use of resources. In our tactics, we are taught that whatever resources are made available to you, use all of them and optimize the use of these resources to get success. So similar principles apply in the corporate world also. Then the next point is known to everyone, good communication skills. In army, we are required to brief our jawans, and each and every small detail has to be told in a fashion which a jawan is able to understand and thereafter execute on ground. So these communication skills help the army officers when they come to the corporate world also in carrying out their tasks and in a much better manner. Then defining a goal and motivating others to follow it. This is another skill. In army, every plan or appreciation starts with the aim. That is, what is your goal? And thereafter, the complete plan is made, and others are motivated to follow or execute the plan to achieve the final aim. Then one more quality which is highly valued not only in army but in corporate world also is ethics and trustworthiness. As you are aware, until and unless the Jawan who is going to the battlefield, he trusts his seniors. He is not going to put his life at stake for the country. So it's very important to be totally ethical and trustworthy. And then last point is ability to stay calm under pressure. In my life in the army, I served in number of insurgencies when those insurgencies were at the peak. I started from J&K insurgency in 89, 90, 91, 92. Thereafter, I came to Punjab insurgency when it was at its peak in Taran. Then I went to Naga insurgency in Manipur, then Bodo insurgency in Kokrajhar, then commanded my Rashtra Rifles battalion in Jammu and Kashmir from 2006 to 9. Everywhere, the most important thing which I learned was to stay calm under pressure, because in the situation where live bullets are flying, if you do not stay calm, you are likely to take a wrong decision which will endanger the lives of the people who are under you. So these qualities which are transferable from the military to the corporate world, I have already taken out from the white paper. Now I would like to put across what I have learned from the army during my 25 years, and I will relate them to the anecdotal experiences through which it will be much better for you to understand that how these leadership qualities were inculcated in me. So first is lead from the front. So I had gone for a long range patrol. It was a 10-day long range patrol in Kolohi Glacier. This is near Baltal or near Amarnath. Amarnath is known to everyone. So people will be able to place how difficult this glacier would be. So we had gone for patrolling on this long range patrolling on this glacier in the month of October, when the snowfall had already started. So we had started climbing from the base of the Kolai Glacier. It was like a mountain pass, and by evening we were able to reach the top of the glacier only when the blizzard started. There was no greenery or plant on this glacier when we were climbing. And when the blizzard started, the fresh snow had covered the route on which we were moving up. And we were on the windward side. We had decided that we will just cross over on the leeward side of the glacier and then take the night's halt. So one of the Jawans who was leading, he slipped. And everyone knew that whosoever tries to stop him will also go down along with him. So we were carrying bivouac sticks with us. These are the bamboo sticks which are used for popping up the two-man tents. So we dug the bamboo sticks into the ground, and the boy who had slipped and was coming down held onto this bamboo stick, which was being held by 2 or 3 people, and that is how he was prevented from going into one of the crevices and losing his life. So after this incident happened, we were just 100 meters short of the pass, but I decided that it was too dangerous to cross over because of the slipperiness and the blizzard which was going on. And we spent that night right on the top of the Kolai Glacier, and the temperature must be minus 25 or 30 degrees centigrade. And it was heavy winds and snow all around. That is the time we collected in a circle, put all our raincoats on top, and tried to burn a small stove which was with us. But we could not burn the stove because of less oxygen, and the washers had become brittle. So one of the boys came up with a bright idea. He put some ghee in one of the katoris, and uska diya bana ke uske चारों तरफ हमने वो full night काटी. That was the longest night of my life. Next morning, the weather opened up and we started moving down. Half the day we kept moving down. When we came up on a river, जिसका top was frozen, and we could hear water going underneath the top. And it was going to be dark when we landed on this spot after coming down through a nala. Now, I told the boys who were with me, there were about 20 boys with me, that let us move on this frozen top for some time so that we find a proper place to rest for the night. But everyone, though I could see on the map that because of the very low temperatures, this top of the river remains frozen throughout the year and would be so solid that a human moving on top will not make the ice break. But the Jawans didn't have this knowledge. So I said, okay, I will move in front, rest everyone follow me. Just because I took this initiative, I moved in front, other people were ready to follow me. Otherwise, no one would have followed. And same thing happens when we go for any operation or a battle also. In J&K, when I commanded 57 Rashtriya Rifles, during my tenure of 3 years and 2 months, we killed 17 militants. But in none of the operations, we got success where I was not leading from the front. In every successful operation, I was about 20 to 30 feet from where the militants were hiding. So what I'm trying to bring out is that the facts have proven that Indian Army officers especially always lead the troops from the front. That is why if you compare the ratio of the deaths of the Indian Army officers as compared to the those of soldiers, the ratio is very high as compared to any other army of the world. Just this is because officers are leading from the front. So next I will move to the next learning for me, which came from the army, that is to have vision and see the big picture. I will give you the example of when I took over command of my 57 Rashtriya Rifles Battalion in Bandipur town of Jammu and Kashmir. The insurgency was at its peak, and Bandipur was considered as the second hottest area of Jammu and Kashmir after Kupwara. The Bandipur town at that time was under border security force, and any army, BSF or CRPF convoy which used to pass through Bandipur town used to be fired upon, and grenades used to be thrown by the militants. Number of armed forces and paramilitary forces casualties had taken place in the 3 to 4 months before I took over my unit. In such a situation, I was asked by my corps commander that can you take over the Bandipur town from BSF and bring some semblance of peace in this town. So, like I told you, I had experience in 6 very active insurgencies before I had taken over command of my unit. So I said, okay, we will take over the town from BSF and we will try our best to bring semblance of peace. So I had taken over command of my battalion in July 2006, and in August 2006 we took over Bandipur town from BSF, and I commanded for 3 more years till August 2009. And let me tell you, we not only wiped the insurgency from the Bandipur town, we also requested and the DC of Bandipur to conduct a Republic Day parade, which was conducted after a gap of 20 years in Bandipur town without any security incident. Now, the point which I would like to highlight is the strategy which we used to counter the insurgency in this particular area. The general belief is that the power flows from the barrel of the gun, and it is because of the gun that the army is able to control insurgency, which is totally counterintuitive. Insurgency cannot be controlled through the power of the gun. We had a 3-pronged strategy for controlling the insurgency here. There were 3 agencies, main agencies, which were working in this area. One was the civil administration, second was the police, and third was the army, and fourth were the local people. So I realized that until and unless all 4 agencies come together, we cannot solve this insurgency. So how we did this was, there were 42 villages under my area of responsibility. I started a monthly meeting in which I used to call all the 42 village pradhans or chairmen to my battalion headquarters. We used to give them very good lunch and 1 or 2 tots of rum also. And in that meeting, we used both harsh and polite tactics. Harsh, by the words which we used, were that we are aware that until and unless the militants are aided by the local population, they cannot put an ambush in which the armed forces personnel will get hurt or damaged. So we told them that if you cooperate with us and not help the militants, we will make sure that development takes place in your respective villages. Now the security situation was so bad that because of the militant present there, the DC was not able to expend the developmental funds which were being made available to him by the government. So we started collecting the applications from the village pradhans, and I took these applications to the DC. And I told them that if you give these developmental works which the villagers want for their respective villages, you will not only be able to spend the money allotted for the work which the people actually want, but you will also develop a very good reputation amongst the villagers who will later help us by giving information regarding the militants. So the DC kindly agreed to that, and we made bus stops, libraries, play fields. We put 20 micro grid projects in the villages around us. And over a period of time, the pradhans or the village chairman, instead of being pro-militants, they started converting to being pro-army. And that is when the intelligence started flowing in. Hard information started coming in. We also took assistance of the police because the information network of the police is stronger than the armed forces, because people know that police is going to stay here for donkey years. Army will come and go. So they are able to develop a much better intelligence network, but their training is not as good as army to carry out successful operations against the militants. So we used to take information and intelligence from the police. We used to take intelligence and information from the locals, because they were very happy that they were getting the projects which they wanted. And based on those, we started conducting the operations in which we got success. As I told you, 17 militants we were able to kill in 3 years. My battalion got a unit citation for my command tenure of 3 years. And during this period, the battalion got 3 Shaurya Chakras and 6 Sena medals, which is quite an achievement. Some old units take about 50 to 100 years to get these many medals. But during this short tenure of 3 years, the unit was able to perform so well that the insurgency was almost finished in Bandipur town. And like I told you, after 20 years gap, we were able to hold Republic Day parade in the stadium which was there in the town. And again, a very interesting thing happened when I requested DC to organize the Republic Day parade. He said, Colonel Saab, if one grenade is thrown by the militants, whole event will go fast.
मैं तो लिख ही रहा हूँ ना तेरे को, मैं तो बोल रहा हूँ तेरे को, ओवर पॉजिटिव हो गया.
The DC Saab told me that only on one condition I said, you don't worry, security will be provided by me.
हमारा होता है, तुम्हारा भाई तो है.
Please move.
Yeah, very good.
So I gave assurance to DC that security is my baby. You don't worry about the security. So one very funny thing happened. He said, okay, Colonel Saab, only on one condition I will organize the Republic Day parade, that you will sit on stage next to me. He was confident that if I sit next to him, nothing will happen during that event. So we went ahead, and without any event or any problem, the complete Republic Day parade went through. So I'm just trying to, by this example, I'm just trying to say that how during our course of tackling different situations, different environments in the army, we are forced to see the big picture and then make out the strategy that over a period of 2-3 years, how we are going to tackle the situation in a particular area so that we are able to achieve the results. So this is very important, to see the big picture, make the strategy, and then implement it on ground. So next, I will come to planning and effective use of resources and out of the box thinking. So here I will give you a very interesting example of our rowing team. I was training officer of my regimental center, which is located in Delhi, from 2004 to 2006. So the moment I took over as training in charge of the regimental center in April 2004, I came to know that our rowing team is attached with the engineer people in Pune, because at that particular time, engineers were the top rowers of the Indian Army. So I spoke to the rowing team boys in Pune, and what they told me was that politics was going on in the rowing in Pune. इन जिस बोट में 4 लोग बैठते हैं, उसमें 2 लोग वो अपने बिठाते थे और 2 लोग हमारे बिठाते थे. अगर चारों राजरिफ के या हमारी रेजिमेंट के बिठाते तो उसमें गोल्ड मेडल आता. बट उनके 2 थोड़े से वीक बिठाने की वजह से सिल्वर मेडल आ जाता था. बट देयर पीपल आल्सो यूज्ड टू गेट अ मेडल. Similar was the case with double scull, in which 2 people sit. So I requested the commandant that let us open a rowing node in Delhi, get our rowers here in Delhi, we will make them practice here, and then we will field them from the Delhi state. So he said, in Delhi, where is the place for practicing or making, where is the water body available where our rowers will practice? So you will not believe it. I, along with 1 or 2 of my people, walked all along Nazafgarh Nala. And there is a place called Chhavla, which is on Delhi-Gurgaon border, where there is a filtration plant on Nazafgarh Nala, after which there is a 2 to 3 kilometers stretch of water in Nazafgarh Nala, and the water also becomes very clean there. So I told the commandant that I have found the place where our rowing team is going to practice. We imported 8 boats at that time. We spent 15 lakhs to get these 8 boats from foreign. We got all our rowers from there to Chhavla. We made them practice in Nazafgarh Nala, fielded our rowing team from Delhi state, and we defeated the army team. So there was total chaos, or I mean, the army chief asked explanation from our center commandant that how you fielded team against the army team. So that is the time we invited army chief to inaugurate the rowing node officially at Chhavla. So that is how we got out of trouble. But you will be amazed to know that this rowing team which we trained in 2006, the same team got 2 silver medals for India in 2006 Asian Games and 1 bronze. And they went to Beijing Olympics in 2008 and reached till quarterfinals in Beijing Olympics. And in 2010 Asian Games, Naib Subedar Bajrang Lal Thakkar won the first individual rowing gold for India in 2010 Asian Games held at Guangzhou. So this was a total out of the box thinking that we will make our rowers train on Nazafgarh Nala, which no one in the dreams can even think of. Something of this sort can also happen. This was totally out of the box. So next I will come to how to work as part of the team. There is a Ghatak competition which is held in the army. The Ghataks are the commandos. They are a platoon of about 20 people which are there with each infantry unit. So when I had about 6 years of service, उससे पहले तकरीबन 7-8 या 10 साल के लिए it had been discontinued, and when I had 6 years of service, it was restarted, inter-battalion Ghatak competition. So in army, over 3 infantry battalions is a brigade, and 3 brigades are part of a division. And in a division, in addition to 9 infantry battalions, artillery battalion, engineer, signals, everyone, there are other battalions also. And division said that we will organize a Ghatak competition in which about 20 units which were part of the division were to participate. So the brigades said, okay, to prepare for the Ghatak competition, we will hold our own Ghatak competitions at the brigade level. So I was physically quite fit. So even at 6 years of service, even though I had 3 youngsters under me, but still I was selected to lead the commando platoon to prepare for this competition. So there was a big setback because in the brigade Ghatak competition, we came last. And this was just after I had got married. So I said कि ये तो काफी बेइज्जती वाली बात है कि we have come last in the brigade. So something needs to be done. So after the brigade competition, along with the complete commando team, I shifted with bag and baggage to the long range. And there every day we used to practice 20 kilometers run with 20 kgs weight on our back, with a 5 kg weapon in everyone's hand, because everyone had to carry weapons which were either 5 kgs, that is the individual rifles, or heavier weapons like rocket launcher, light machine gun, etc. So I stayed along with these 20 people in the tents at the range, and I developed the complete team spirit in the commando platoon, to the extent that उठना बैठना खाना सोना इनके प्रैक्टिस इनके साथ करना, फायरिंग की प्रैक्टिस इनके साथ करना, everything used to happen as a team. And we mainly focused on the सबसे कमजोर कड़ी of the team. That means कि हमारी टीम में जो सबसे वीक लोग हैं उनको हमें ऊपर कैसे उठाना है, उनको हम उनके वेपन्स दूसरे लोग लेके भागते थे, उनको हमने प्रैक्टिस भी ज्यादा करवाया. बिकॉज व्हाट वी रियलाइज्ड वाज कि जो हमारे लास्ट बंदे की परफॉर्मेंस होगी, आगे वाला बंदा हमारा चाहे रिकॉर्ड टाइम में खत्म कर ले, मगर टीम का टाइमिंग तो वही काउंट होगा जो लास्ट बंदा जिस टाइम में खत्म करेगा. तो इट वाज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट टू फंक्शन एज अ टीम. Last person was the most important person to be brought up. So this had to be fed into everyone's mind. And when everyone knew that we have to, it is not an individual event, it's a team event, and everyone has to behave as to help each other, that is the time the motivation factor took on. And in the division Ghatak competition, we stood first amongst 20 teams who had participated in the division Ghatak competition with a big margin. That means in every sub event, the second team was way beyond us. So that is how I learned that the team spirit building is one of the most important things which will either help you in becoming successful or will fail you. And it is the weakest member of the team who has to be taken care of. If you take care of the weakest member and bring him up, the complete team will do well. And it is your duty to bring him up. Then next I will come to defining a goal and motivating others to follow it. So here again, I will explain with the help of an anecdotal experience. When I was a training officer in charge in my regimental center in Delhi, what we did was, generally क्या होता है कि आर्मी में जैसे हमारे जो 5 फीडर स्टेट्स हैं, यूपी है, दिल्ली है, हरियाणा है, एमपी है और राजस्थान है. इन 5 स्टेट की जो टोटल पॉपुलेशन है उसके हिसाब से प्रो राटा वैकेंसीज we have 50% Jats and 50% Rajputs. So pro rata vacancies, army headquarter allots as per the attrition rate from the army. And in the regimental center, as per the vacancies allotted, we have to take in the new soldiers as per the itne Jat, itne Rajput from UP, itne Jat, itne Rajput from Haryana, etc. So as per the vacancies allotted, we have to take them. But sitting in Delhi, we could maintain a good liaison with the army headquarters. And for the first time in the army history, what we did was we went to the universities and colleges in Haryana and Rajasthan, because the sportsmen in these two states are really good. We selected the players who had already played at the college level till the national level. We got them to our center, took their test. We engaged a basketball coach who had already represented India, and we brought them. We requested army headquarters that now आप इस state की हमें इस caste की इतनी vacancies allot करो, because we want to take about 25 people into the basketball and athletics stream. So I hope you are all aware that Neeraj Chopra, who has won the gold for India, is also from Rajputana Rifles, which is my battalion. So we are known for being good in sports. So what we did was we requested army headquarters, got these vacancies as per our desire from the army headquarters, recruited these guys. And in Delhi, आर्मी रेड एंड आर्मी ग्रीन टीम, यानी कि आर्मी की नंबर 1 टीम और आर्मी की नंबर 2 टीम आर्मी हेडक्वार्टर सिग्नल रेजिमेंट में अटैच रहती है. तो हमने दिल्ली एरिया के अंदर बोला कि हम आर्मी की टीम से मैच रखना चाहते हैं. इनको हमने 1 साल ट्रेनिंग दिया, एंड देन वी रिक्वेस्टेड कि वी वांट टू कीप अ मैच विद द आर्मी टीम. एंड यू विल नॉट बिलीव इट, just before the final whistle, the score in the match was 73-72. And our team was trailing by 1 point. And in the basketball, there is a rule that when the final whistle blows, till the time whistle finishes, if the ball is released and if it goes into the basket, it has to be counted in the score of the team which has put the basket. So when the final whistle blew, one of our boys released the ball before the final whistle had blown and a 3-pointer went in. Had that been counted, we would have defeated the army team, which rightfully it should have been counted. But it was not counted because it would have been a big embarrassment that a regimental team has beaten the army team. But this news went to the army headquarters, and it was told that next year's army team will be inter-division matches will be held under my supervision, and the army team will be selected by me. So next year we held inter-division competitions in Delhi, and there in one of the teams, one boy from my parent team had also come. His name was Jairam Jat. So he was not the top 5 players of the team. You are aware that at a time 5 players play in the basketball match. So he was not amongst the top 5 players of the team. But since he was from my parent unit, I called him and I told him कि जयराम जाट, तेरे को मैं इंडियन आर्मी की टीम के लिए सेलेक्ट कर रहा हूँ, बट मेरा नाम बदनाम मत करना, मेरी इज्जत रखना, एंड ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि पीपल से कि इसने भाईबंदी करके टीम के अंदर एक बंदा डाल दिया और बाद में मेरी बेइज्जती हो. So I did this selection, went to command my battalion in J&K from 2006 to 2009, and after commanding one day when I came back to the center, I went to the CSD canteen, and there was a 6 feet 5 inches boy who touched my feet. So when he got up, I saw that it was the same guy, just Jairam Jat, whom I had put in the army basketball team. So I was amazed to see him. I said, from Jairam Jat, tu yahan kaise? He said, साहब Germany से आया हूँ कल. So I said, what do you mean Germany से आया हूँ? So he said कि साहब आपने बोला था मेरा नाम बदनाम मत करना, तो आज मैं इंडिया की बास्केटबॉल टीम का कैप्टन हूँ. And just because you defined a goal for me by saying, and you motivated me, that changed my life history, and I have become the Indian basketball team captain. So here I will share a screen in which I came across an article. Is it visible?
Yeah, it is visible very much.
So this is about how Jairam Jat rose from poverty to captain India and win a UBA championship with Chennai Slam. So he is the same Jairam Jat. This article I chanced upon today, so I saved it. I thought it will be useful to show this article to everyone.
Excellent.
So this is how, if you define a goal and you motivate others to follow it, you can make sure that they are able to not only achieve the goal, but they can excel, even go beyond that goal which you have set for them. Then next point is great communicators and listeners. This goes without saying that the most important skill for any leader is good communication skills, and to even in my view, even more important than good communication skill is good listening skill. During my 25 years tenure in the army, what I realized was that the Jawans generally stay away from the families, most in infantry. Rajrif is infantry, where I spent most of my time. And they do have some problem or the other which is irritating them when they get a call from home. Their parents, their wives, their kids will tell all their problems to them. And किसी ने उनकी जमीन के ऊपर कब्जा कर लिया, कहीं पे कुछ हो गया, कहीं पे कुछ हो गया. So even if you are not able to do much about the problems which he is facing at the home front, if you just give him 5 minutes of hearing or listening, his 90% worries get over, because he thinks that I have told whatever I had to tell to my commanding officer. Now he will take care of me and my family in whatever possible way he can. So that is the importance of listening. Communication and listening are both equally important. The next is a highly developed sense of ethics. When you are telling a person or a Jawan that in war, you will have to go to the front, attack the enemy bunkers, and in that, the Jawan is aware that he can even lose his life. If the leader who is ordering him to go ahead and put his life in danger is unethical, if the Jawan knows that he is corrupt, he will not follow the orders given by the leader. He will only have complete faith in you if he knows that you are firstly ethical and he has faith in your abilities and training. That is equally important. So even if or an army officer or any military leader or any corporate leader, even if he has not got to learn more things for himself, he has got to improve his knowledge and training because of the duty towards his subordinates, because they have put their lives and their have complete faith in your leadership qualities. That is why they are following you to death. So that is what I learned from the army, that you have to be totally ethical and trustworthy if you want to command respect and you want that the people below you should follow your orders. Then last thing which I learned is remaining calm under pressure. I have realized in various live operations where bullets were flying that if I lose cool, I'm bound to give an order or a decision which may not be rational. So to give a rational decision or to have a balanced thinking, it is very, very important to remain calm under pressure. If you are not able to do that, one wrong decision may lead to loss of a life. So it is very, very important to remain absolutely calm even when live bullets are flying all around you. And same thing, I have been CEO of OMC Power, the solar power company here since last 2 years. And same thing I have realized here also, that people here appreciate the patience and calmness which I have. And they said that, sir, we go out of the way to put more than our best just because you have given us a good working environment. And that is one of the reasons why the efficiency of the people has also gone up. My way of motivating people is that I give them training, I give them opportunities to show their caliber, and I motivate them कि उनको ऐसा लगना चाहिए कि हम अपने सीनियर को फेल नहीं कर सकते, not at the जोर और जोर of a danda. Because if you are trying to get the work done at the जोर of a danda, that can succeed for some time. But आप 24 घंटे उसके ऊपर डंडा लेके खड़ा नहीं रह सकते. जैसे आपका डंडा वहां से हटेगा, वो काम भी करना बंद कर देगा. बट जो इंटरनल मोटिवेशन है वो तभी आएगी जब वो आपको रियली दिल से रिस्पेक्ट करे और उसके मन में ये चीज आए कि मैं अपने बॉस को लेट डाउन नहीं कर सकता. तब अगर आप नहीं भी खड़े होकर डंडा लेके उसके सिर पे, तब भी वो 24 घंटे काम तब तक करेगा जब तक उसको जो आपने टास्क दिया वो खत्म ना हो जाए. दैट इज व्हाट आई लर्न in my 25 years from the army. So that is all which I had from my experiences. I just want to make a disclaimer here that there was no intention of praising myself during this lecture, but I gave these examples so that the anecdotal experiences say I could very easily explain the points which I wanted to explain. जब तक लाइव चीजें, फैक्चुअल चीजें किसी के सामने ना रखी जाएं, तब तक वो विश्वास नहीं होता कि ऐसा एक्चुअल में हुआ होगा कि नहीं हुआ होगा. और फैक्चुअल चीजों को देखने के बाद में मतलब पीपल रियली बिलीव कि भी ऐसा ही हुआ है और ऐसा ही हुआ होगा. So my sincere request that I had no intention of praising myself in any way, and this was just to put across the points. I hope I have been able to put across the points which I wanted to put across. Some time is left, so I would like to take on questions if there are any from any of the audience.
Sir, can I ask you one question, sir? Anil Saxena.
Yes.
First, I will congratulate you for giving such a wonderful lecture and about the leadership and of the army plus and your effect on the corporate sector. My submission is, though don't take it otherwise. Throughout the world, except in India, even the ex-army persons or those who have got army, they have taken training. In many countries, army training is essential for, like UK and USA. But here in India, why former officers of army are not getting success in politics? Because despite of vast experience, it is noted there. If you are getting success in the politics also, that you would change the face of India within 24 hours. Sir.
Yes.
Any
Anil
reason?
Saxena ji, I totally agree with you. In US and in UK, there have been many ex-generals who have joined politics, and they have been very successful also, like General Eisenhower, etc. But in India, the moment we join the unit, the first thing we are told is that remain away from politics. And that continues throughout our army life. The reason why we are told to stay away from politics is because especially the infantry, the people are coming from different castes and different regions. To integrate people who are coming from different castes and different regions into one team, you have to stay away from any politicalization or casteism of any kind. Second thing is that per se, in India, there is an impression that the basic requirement of coming into the political life is that you have to be corrupt and slightly gunda element.
That's the point. That was the point I want to listen from you, sir. That's why I was asking you this, why you people are not having success. Like you can again give you example of General VK.
General VK has been doing extremely well.
Captain Amanda Singh, they were all very sincere people. They are doing
very sincere, and they have been doing extremely well.
Yeah, but why they are not getting success here? That's why.
See, the general notion is that since it is meant for slightly corrupt and so that was initially hindering retired army officers from entering politics, but now people are entering. As you would be aware, one Colonel Saab is the chief ministerial face in Uttarakhand also now.
Yeah.
So now people have started entering, and my personal viewpoint is that if army people are able to get in good political positions, then there are a lot of change they will be able to bring,
you can
which will help India in a big way.
Yeah, that's why I was insisting.
Yes, I totally agree with you. If they enter politics, they will be able to bring a lot of improvement. I fully agree with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes. I'll
Jugal Kishore ji, please continue.
Yes, I'm very pleased to hear your lecture. It was wonderful. And as you told that whole life of the army people are disciplined from the day they join it and they leave it. And even after that. I have one idea that we have got an NCC for the youths of the India. But
that's right.
We don't have anything about the other public. That is why the discipline is lacking in many fields of civilians as well as in politicians. And since I have been a grassroots officer from Jalga Survey, India, who has lived in tents in interior areas as well as to Himalayas and other places, I have come across all sort of people, starting from say seminars, symposium, 5-star hotels to a small hut in an interior area of India. So I have come across all the people, and people, most of them, they are very nice and very disciplined people. But with the need for money or greed for money has made them different. So there should be a general opportunity for the common people to have a disciplined life, like we have got in US or other countries, compulsory army for 3 years or something. Something like that for the general people should be there, maybe voluntarily only, not compulsory, but there should be an opportunity for other youths also, besides NCC and other things, which can do that. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Jugal Kishore ji, I am in total agreement with what you are saying, that if people are voluntarily allowed or told to do 1 to 2 year training with the army, not only their discipline will improve to a big extent, their capabilities will also go up many folds. though this is a very desirable thing to do in India, but the population of India is so huge that all majority of the population can't be made to go through the army training because it will involve too much of logistics and spending of money, which India at present cannot afford, because it will definitely involve a lot of expenditure. So the NCC, which is already there, is the best option, wherein people who want to seek the flavor of discipline and the armed forces life, they can join the different wings through NCC, that is Army, Navy, and Air Force, and inculcate the good qualities while being in the NCC. So I think that and one more territorial army is there, where you can come in for a temporary tenure and then fall back to your parent organization. That opportunity also exists in India, wherein people can come for a couple of years, then go back to the parent organization. But to do it at a large scale is desirable, but not cost effective because of the huge population size in India.
Yes, I agree with you. I am aware about the territorial army. In fact, I came to know very late. I could have joined earlier, but I came to know. But there is no information available for the common people about territorial. It is very selected people who get it. So if there is an opportunity beside NCC for the people who are not student, what I mean to say, those who are not included in the already drawn program by the government of India or the states, there should be some provision for the common men who are not that educated, or they are not out of the student wing. That way, territorial army is okay, but it is publicity is very poor. It is very selected people who are aware about that. In fact, I wish to join. I came to know very later on, but by that time I have crossed the age, because I was working in Himalayas, and then I came across a lot of army officers who were sharing many things with me in the Himalayas. So that is how I came to know, and it is generally it is not aware by the people, common people, about this. Anyway, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Atharji.
So,
Yeah, Mathur sir,
thank
you want to
very
ask
much,
something?
Colonel Vadera. Now we'll have a formal vote of thanks by Praveen Dwivedi, Senior Vice President.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think this idea about having a leadership talk based on the experiences from the armed forces, the whole idea got germinated during our meeting with Colonel Jiten, which I had with him. I thought it will be very opportune, during the time of Republic Day, 73rd Republic Day we just celebrated. So we take a lot of pride, and I think anything to do with that army, I think always inspires us. So today's session, as we all know, has been really very, very, I would say, invigorating, energizing, and very, very imbibing session. Especially the kind of adversities which you face, and how in those kind of, I know we are shivering cold these days, we are, but in -20, -30 degree, how you can still keep your mental toughness, and how you can think of something like Nazargarh Nala and create a champion team, and also people like Jairam Jat who go on to captain the team. So these are really very, very anecdotal lessons, which when we get to hear from the horse's mouth, from somebody who has been there, done that, that is something which actually inspires us. And these are the stories which I think all need. While what Jugal Kishore was asking, that we should have actually compulsory army training for all our kids of today. But even if they are actually shared these stories by all of us, or elderly people, we get an opportunity to share those stories. I think that itself will be very good. So, of course, I think we should be thinking of at Lucknow Management Association also hosting such sessions for our next generation of youngsters who are teenagers, and who are in their late teens and millennials and Gen Z. So that will really be good, I think. So a lot of learning. I must express my sincere gratitude to Colonel Jiten Vadera, who also happens to be my neighbor and also with Evoke India Association. So thank you very much for your time and valuable lessons, insights shared with all of us. I'm really thankful. In case, while there were a couple of questions, in case anyone has to share any thoughts. Otherwise, this has been really a very, very engaging session. We also got some good questions from Anil Saxena ji and Jugal Kishore ji. So thank you very much for all the comments which we have received. I really appreciate. Thank you to all our esteemed members from Lucknow Management Association for your time today, and very well. And while we started, I think at 4:05, and we are also ending it within our allotted slotted time. So thank you very much, and we. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, Praveen ji, and it will be my pleasure if I can conduct any lecture or any other event which you want me to conduct in future, which will benefit others. So it will be a big pleasure for me if I can be of help to anyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. With this, we formally close today's session. Thanks a lot, everyone, for being part of it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you.